Welcome to Market Pulse Pros and Pioneers. Each week, I talk with industry leaders on both marketing and entrepreneurship and business to find out all about their wins and failures in marketing right now. We'll hear all about successes and wins and what's fallen flat so that you can take that knowledge and implement it. Learn from the best, from the folks who've been there and done it all, as well as people just like you. Thanks for joining us. This is Market Pulse Pros and Pioneers.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Market Pulse Pros and Pioneers. This week, I'm excited to announce that we've got Dylan Lamb, the founder of Omirank, with us. Hi, Dylan. How are you?
Thanks, John, for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Dylan is a digital marketing agency expert who specializes in helping e-commerce and Amazon sellers scale through effective marketing strategies. So expertise in lead generation, pay-per-click, media buying, and email campaigns. And Dylan's built a reputation for delivering data-driven results, which is something that I know a lot of marketers are keen on. Not many marketers manage to deliver on. Well done for that. As an advisor to multiple eight-figure Amazon brands, he uses his deep knowledge of the e-commerce landscape to help businesses grow. Phenomenal background, phenomenal experience across a variety of different businesses there. And your passion for marketing extends also into crowdfunding, product launches, and empowering brands to achieve a sustainable success online. That is a big bio to live up to, Dylan. Amazing. How did you get started? How did you come across the idea of building Omirank in the first place?
First of all, that's in nutshell in 30 seconds. That's a lot. Thank you. That's super fun. Amazing. So the way that I built Omirank was because I started my whole journey in e-commerce. I first started in e-commerce as a dropshipper, and then I went on to Amazon. And then we did bootstrap the company on Amazon, and therefore started offering services to fellow sellers. Like they were just asking, like, how do you do this, how do you do that on BBC? And so like I started having one, two, and then they would refer other people, and then just like right now we have like more than 100 customers. So that's Omirank in a nutshell. But back in the days, it was like such a wild journey from just starting from, I was starting on eBay first before Amazon, carrying a lot of stuff, going to the post office, selling stuff like 40 a day. The whole post office knows about me when I lay over all the packs on the floor and stick with the things like I made the factory workers, like putting all the tape on it, like the things.
Amazing. I imagine that they were both pleased that you were coming because it kept them in a job, but rolling their eyes at the same time, right?
It's true, still low.
It sounds a bit like when I was a kid and I was the guy that could fix desktop PCs and replace RAM modules and things like that. And before I knew it, like I had to stop telling people that I could do it because I just ended up with so many people wanting me to fix their computers and give advice for them. So it's nice to see somebody who's grown out of their own capabilities, helping other people, and I guess now taking that to very much the next level. Working with eight-figure businesses, how does that compare with what you were doing back in the day? How have things changed from what used to work versus what works now?
Okay, so back in the days, like I would work with a eight-figure sellers that would have like 20,000, 40,000 SKU, like like individual product. Yep. Because the way that they do is not really focusing on branding. They are more focusing on quantity, but not quality. Right. And so whatever they see on the internet, we even have a Python, like for them, like in the past, like they would just scrape the whole internet and then connect it to Google Translate. And then back in the day, there's no AI stuff, and then they would just come up with a description, a broken English or broken like kind of like listing from Chinese to English, and they would just upload to the internet, and they would just head over to us, and then just ask us to do the budget hunting and then come up with a plan for the app. And so that doesn't work anymore because obviously the algorithms from different marketplaces is already changed. They wanted you to focus on your own branding, and that is the differences, right? And so that would be like the 2020 changes or 2018 changes already. But nowadays, the changes is all about AI. Like everything is more on like really AI can do right now. The only thing what AI can do is the optimization and analyzation. Right? Can they do that in the future? I don't know, but I know that even if they can do it in the future, it won't be as good as like what we can do by ourselves humanly.
Interesting. So, hands on heart, for our usual followers for this show, as we were talking before we find Dylan, are B2B SME experts, right? People who are working in services and products, selling to other businesses. And I'd be willing to bet a few of them are scratching their heads going, what's Paul got Dylan on the show? I'm not selling on Amazon. The reason I wanted to speak with Dylan on this show is predominantly because I think there's a big problem that a lot of B2B businesses have in that they struggle to work well with paid media, with paid advertisements, and to, when they do have the money available to invest in adverts, they do it badly. They work with the wrong partners. And as a result, it feels like there aren't any results to be had for paid media. When in actual fact, if you speak to the right people, there's phenomenal results to be had. It's all about how you do it and working with the right people. I want everybody who's listening to the show today, just reframe what Dylan's talking about and consider the context for your own business in terms of paid media, because Dylan has made a fantastic career so far out of working predominantly with paid media, right? It's all about driving success with that. And would you agree that there are some interesting parallels between what you would be doing for advertising a product and how to be effective with that versus how a business can advertise themselves or their own products and services to another business?
To me, I would say, in general, to be fair, e-commerce ad is actually more difficult than B2B ad, because the way we scale stuff is systematically, is the fundamental of B2B. On top, we have to track so much things behind and to scale according to revenue. It's like B2B more of like you are scaling according to CTA and CPC and of course core books sometimes. And that's why like we have an additional layer on top, like to make sure that our apps is not going to suffer fatigue, but the fundamental is always the same.
Awesome. Talk me through Omirank then. How are you guys different to other agencies that are out there working in the same area? Because it's quite a full marketplace, right? There's quite a lot of people doing similar work to what you guys are doing.
So first of all, Omirank, what's Omirank about is we integrate the system in the whole. It's not just about running ad on Amazon using Amazon PC. We run ad using Google Shopping ad, using Team ads, using YouTube ad, using Facebook ad, right? So the way from that is like back in the days, like my experience was a performance marketer, a job shipping seller on Facebook. And that comes to be like a insight on the strategy on how brand can scale rather than just a brand that sells on Amazon, whereas they are just a Amazon brand. Whereas like you cannot sell outside of Amazon, right? Because they are commodities sometimes, right? So the way that our client is, we take the client who can really scale past Amazon, can really get interactive marketing base to attract people to the brand. It means that the brand have potential. That's what the differentiate us from the just Amazon BBC agents.
Got it. And one of your other areas of expertise is around crowdfunding as well, which I don't think I've ever spoke to anybody who has worked on multiple crowdfunding projects before or had any form of success with that. Yeah. I'm going to throw my thoughts into the area in that I'm guessing it's a lot to do with community. But can you walk us through your experience with crowdfunding, what that could mean for people who are out there wondering how they can bootstrap their business?
Sure. It's quite a big topic. Like there is equity crowdfunding and reward crowdfunding, right? Equity crowdfunding means like those like getting fund from seed round from A, B, and C. But we're not talking about those A, B, and C series. We're talking about reward crowdfunding. I think like you provide a reward after people help you out to raise fund for your business, right? And so in crowdfunding, we also like tweak a little bit. Like we treat crowdfunding not as in a crowdfunding from scratch. We treat it as the marketing, as a vehicle to help us to gather fund to launch the idea that might not have been proven. And so we use crowdfunding to see whether or not there's interest. We use that to help you to snowball down for your whole to generate fund so you don't face 3 months worth of inventory that you need right off the bat. So the typical route that we go for crowdfunding is more of like, the typical way to go for e-commerce is more of like, hey, you go into the business, you have to invest 3 months worth of inventory, and then you have to want to invest additional month on the 4th month. So your stock is going to be going over and over. Whereas in your crowdfunding is you don't invest in inventory, you just go on to launch a crowdfunding campaign, and then be able to use those funds to fund the business. So you were asking about the nature of it. So why does a crowdfunding work? It's because of community. You're correct. Well, because crowdfunding helps you create a community that they support you, they see your journey, they know that along the way that you're developing something with them, and therefore they will follow you, right? And as a result, you collect your email list. Right? If you guys in B2B, then you know email is king. That's how you convert people. But why do you want to join your email list? Right? There must be a reason. Yeah. In B2B context, you have a lead magnet, you have a tripwire, or you have an offer for them. Right? Whereas in e-commerce kind of angle, it's like because we let you see how we created the whole business. We let you know about the story behind. We promised you that we will fulfill the promise, and therefore we are a community, right? Yeah. And therefore the community is really important because they're going to come back and support you in the future. And so that's why we rank crowdfunding as in the marketing.
It's interesting because I know so many businesses that I've tried to build communities before in the past. It is so hard to build communities, and there are definitely, like, I would advise anybody out there who's wanting to build a community to go and seek the expertise of somebody who's had experience doing that in the past, because it's not as simple as it sounds. A lot of businesses out there think, I'll build it and they'll come. Like, of course, people who want to be part of my community, it's a brilliant idea, of course it is. And with the best will in the world, people just don't care. People just don't care. So what's your experience of how to, what's some of the best ways of building that community in the early phases? How do you start to attract people in to even care about that idea?
And I would just like the 400 in the B2B way. So the way that we launch a B2B, we launch an e-commerce brand is we make sure that the brand idea is sustainable. Same as any idea, it's like, think out, if you come up with an idea out of the blue without any data proven or without any validation, it means that they're just a worthless idea. Go to ChatGPT, ask them to give you an idea, they'll give you 10 different like a lead magnet, right? Say, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me a lead magnet for attracting client, right? And then just make an ebook, make a course, and it's doing that, right? But the real value behind there is when you create a course, you won't immediately go on to create a course. You're going to create course 1 and course module 1 and module 2 and just launch it and see if anyone interested. And that's the idea on how we do crowdfunding. Okay, now we have a cup. This cup is from IKEA, I believe. Right? I don't know. And then this cup is a different color. The same color with a blue ocean at the bottom. So we tell a story. Why do we come this cup? Because this cup comes through inspiration from the nature that we spend there for 300 years, and then we realize that the blue have to be this blue. Right? The sand color have to be this kind of mixture, right? That when you look at the cup, it makes you feel so calm, so comfortable, and you were inspired by the nature of God, right? For example, that's a story. Yeah. And now you have a story to tell that people want to buy in. Oh, we actually connect with people, right? Because they have the same problem as like, okay, now I need to calm. I'm always so stressed out. I need a cup that can help me calm down. So I'm just going to call this cup a calm down cup, right?
I love it.
And so now you have a story to tell. And then you are gonna speak the message, and then you will find the right angle, and then you launch the ad to find the right audiences, right? So it's about the messaging and angle that connects together to come up with an offer, right? So what's before that is the hope. You have the hope to try to attract them to look at the messaging and then the angle, and then you provide them with an offer. That is how we are able to create a community by gonna target different angle, right? You have the, let's say, yoga angle, then you go for the yoga niche. You have the spiritual angle, you go for a spiritual niche, and you have like the maybe Pilates one, then you go Pilates. So you're gonna niche down, find at least 3 kind of audiences. Once you understand that if there's 3 seed audiences is working, it means that your business is going to be proven, because it's vertical, you will be able to scale. In this and that, you can scale as well, right? And then of course, there's a lot of like sub-vertical that is not the seed vertical that you can also scale, right? But if the product doesn't validate by data, that will be a problem. It means that, okay, I create a course. I try to create this car, trying to advertise people to see everything. Just that if in the validation funnel, no one is really interested, is not engaging, they're not paying you even $1 to try to reserve this cup. It means that there's no potential. And therefore, you might as well just change the idea. Don't waste too much of your time. You should just invest in something else. And that's the idea of like building a community and to validate your whole product, to make sure that it's good enough before you launch it. Otherwise, the return on time invested is going to be bad.
Fantastic. Do you know what? Like, that advice is absolute gold dust for people. If you can take that and reframe it for your business, there's magic in those words that you've just said there, Dylan. And it's about, you're not selling your product, your business, your service. You're selling the feelings, the experience that come with that product and the story behind it. And business B2B is terrible. I'll say it again, terrible at telling stories. We just want to sell features, buttons, services, consultants. It's boring. And that's why people don't buy into things. But I love the thought that, you know what, it's not always your ability to build a community that's at fault. Sometimes it's just the product behind it isn't enough to attract people, or it doesn't resonate with them in the right way. Therefore, there's no real engagement. And I was listening to a podcast with Stephen Bartlett the other week where he had Daniel Priestman on. And they were talking about the same sort of thing, build a wait list. If nobody joins your wait list, nobody's interested, move on to the next idea. Community can be the same sort of thing. Build a community. If nobody wants to join it, why are you wasting your time on it? Because nobody really cares. But to your point exactly, first of all, you've got to know how to market it. And it's not about, you don't sell the sausage, you sell the smell of the sausage cooking in the pan. And I really appreciate the way that you've phrased all of that, Dylan. I like that.
Never going to sustain. It's never going to sustain if you don't have a community.
Yeah.
Even though if you create one, it might scale you to 6 figures. Even though if you reach 7 figures, and you're going to end it because you can't scale it.
As well. So knowing who your customers are in there, separating them out by their segments. And people struggle to do this. Or my target is chief financial officers or chief operations officers or business owners, right? Great. But like, not all business owners are created equal. Some of us like football. Some of us are former corporate people. There are millions of different ways to break down your target audience, and job title alone isn't enough. Vertical that they work in isn't enough. It's about understanding what about that person leads them to be a good fit for my product, service, or business. And in your case, it's their pastimes, their spiritual life. In that example, that's a great idea. You take that and run with it, because I say I love to work with business owners who are ADHD like me, right? Like I know, because we get each other, because we speak the same sort of language. We interrupt each other's conversation all the damn time. So just if you're considering, a lot of people out there are scared of niching their customer base down because they're worried that they'll lose customers. And actually, they're just not impressing the ones that are the best fit for them because they're not talking their language. So I like that. What's something that you see on the horizon? You talked about AI briefly earlier on. What are some of the other things that are coming down the line for digital marketing in the e-commerce space that you're looking forward to, or maybe you're worried about coming around the horizon?
I would think video avatar, AI avatar. I think that really changed the timing, because video avatar is like, even like HeyGen. Like HeyGen is quite a famous one, right? Before HeyGen, we have somebody called Cynthia. It's kind of like, but it's just a quick version of it. Like, all they're trying to do is like the lip sync. They're trying to make sure the lip sync is good enough. So HeyGen is still like, it's good dude already, but then they're not as good like as I can like think of in the future. In the future, what I can think of like AI can contribute is video avatar. So you can launch e-commerce ad or B2B ad even faster, right? The way that we launch it right now, we have to film it, and then we have to edit it, and then we have to revise it. And that process may take weeks, right? Whereas you just come with a script, and then copywriting is done, and then just put it into the video avatar. It gave me, it would just churn out ads in just like why bodies, but the face, it's just like 15 minutes. It's not bodies. Before this is like, because we're running ad from start, we're running ad from shopping ad and Facebook ad that would be for this. But for that just video, it's just 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And think about the photo shooting as well. Right. We're not talking about like going out with the whole shooting e-commerce listing. Back in the days, we have a light box and put the product in the turntable, and then you have to have all the lights set up, right? Now you can use AI to just do the AI shootings. Whereas you just you just use the iPhone just to the product, they will remove the background, and then they will just do the lighting automatically. So that's the thing that I think that is the next step forward, as in like launching product back in the days. But now launching a funnel with AI, it's just super fast because you can just churn it out in just 30 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think there are so many, I guess half the benefits of AI we don't even know about yet, right? Like people think we've been using AI for a long time. Like it's only just finding its feet. And I'm looking forward to some of the things around augmented reality glasses where we can see much more information about the products that are actually in front of us, and that, I guess, the link between experiential shopping in person, but not actually needing to buy anything, and that link to e-commerce and D2C. There's some fantastic options that are coming up for retailers in the not too distant future. What's one thing that you wish business owners would stop trying to do? What's maybe a false expectation with their marketing, or a tactic that just doesn't work anymore? What gets you annoyed that when you come across it?
The way they launch ad, I went with Kai that they launch ad that in a way that is just virtually not scalable and not data driven. They will just like place money like 100 quid a day and then just hoping there's leads to come in. But the fact that like we really need a structured way to launch ad is because running ad, there's so much things behind. There's like from prospecting to using the right message to scaling, right? It all comes with different kinds of campaign on different platforms. Like say for Google, we have this thematic campaign, we have this goal planning campaign, we have this Ngram, right? They're all there for a reason. Whereas like I would see it like before a client come in, they would just create a campaign and say, hey, I just put all my keyword there that it doesn't work, right? You just start all the keyword there without trying to segment it. And I think that's the one mistake that most of the people getting it wrong, because they didn't really have data driven approach to create their own campaigns. Like even on Facebook, they would just think of like launching campaign using ABO or CBO, that would be fine. But in fact, like the data always takes 15 conversion before they can receive a good feedback from the platform for them to continue to use it as a signals, refine more additional customer. So we gotta use the right way to scale the ad process in order to make sure that our business is growing. Otherwise, everyone can call themselves an agency.
And that leads nicely onto my very last question for the afternoon, Dylan, which is when you're talking to a new client, how do you showcase that you're the real deal, that you know what you're talking about? And therefore, what should be the questions that business owners are asking of their agency or prospective new agency partners to understand whether they are people who are faking it and just taking money, or whether they're the real deal that can deliver real results for that business?
I would say, firstly, ask about whether or not they have been doing it. So proof. I think that's number one. Secondly, is about how they report to you. Do they just come up with a report from a PDF? They are just manipulating PDF by themselves? Or do they come with a strategy that tells you this is that one, the week one that we're going to do, we're 2 week, and week 4, what we're going to do for you? Those ad group is like, it's just like fundamental ad group. Like there's a lot of people that they're trying to do is they just tell you, I'll just launch PDFs for you, launch a budget for you next, and launch it for you. But they don't really know how to optimize it, right? So ask them, how do they optimize it? They don't share it, then it means that they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They are just trying to create ad campaign and that's it, right? Or even they just outsource it.
scratch beneath the surface and see how far their knowledge goes, even if you're not the expert yourself, right? I guess you don't need to know the answers. You're just looking at how confident they are in giving you the answers when you ask those questions, right?
That's right, yeah.
Awesome. Dylan, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, a little bit different to our normal conversation topics. So very interesting to get your insights on some things and hear some stories in a different way, in a different frame to what we'd normally do that. If anybody's interested to learn a bit more about what Omirank does or get in touch with yourself and ask questions, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Just go to omirank.com to just like send us a message in the chat box. Or maybe you can just connect me with Digital Dylan. I talked about the AI in my profile, so you guys can just, if you guys want to know more about AI, you guys can just, so we can stay up to date on the latest AI trend.
Awesome. Sounds exciting. I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks for being an amazing guest. I've really enjoyed the conversation.
It's cool.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to feature on a future show, or you've got some ideas for folks who would make a great guest, please drop us a line. Contact details are in the show notes and I'd love to hear from you. Your host today was me, Paul Banks, founder at Javelin Content Management. Here at Javelin, we specialise in helping busy business owners just like you to repurpose video content, taking all the stress and tech problems away and turning your long-form video into literally hundreds of pieces of content without breaking the bank. We describe it as getting ideas out of your head into video and out to your socials. If you want to launch your personal brand, become the vendor of choice for your audience, or maximise your sales revenue impact, we'd love to hear from you. Join us next Wednesday for the next episode, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a review. Our podcast is only possible with your continued support.